What's up everyone and welcome to the club. Today I'll be showing you how to draw Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Now I want to begin today's lesson by adding some guidelines to help with the balance and symmetry of our drawing. So let's start in the center of our page. We're going to start at the very top. Just going to lightly work our way down towards the bottom, drawing a straight line. I'm just using these short lines. Now let's move to the center and draw another line going across from left to right. So we'll start with the left side and just stretch that out towards the right. Now I'm going to be using these two lines to help us create a large oval for the head in the center. So from that center point, let's move over toward the left side, right about here. Just going to mark that off. Now I want to measure that same distance over towards the right side and do the same thing. Now I want to add those same marks across this vertical line, but I want to make it a little bit shorter. So from that center point, let's move up to right about here and mark that off. Now let's measure this distance down towards the bottom and do the same thing. Now we want to connect the center point of each mark with a curve to create our oval. So we're going to start with the top left. Just going to round this out. And this oval doesn't have to be perfect. We're just using this as a guide. You can always come back and smooth this out later. So once we get the general shape and size, now with our oval and guidelines in place, let's start blocking out the facial features. I want to connect the left and right side of our oval with a curve for the mouth. We're going to go up in the middle, go across, and then back down. Now in the center, we're going to move up and draw a large oval for the nose. So let's start by going all the way around. And we can modify the size if we need to. I'm going to go up a little bit higher in the middle, just to make the nose a bit bigger. Now at the top of the nose, draw a straight line going across from left to right. Over on the top left, we're going to step in, draw a small circle for the eye, go all the way around, and we'll do the same thing on the right. Now on the inside, we're going to add a point across the eye. We're going to come down an angle and come down towards the bottom. Now we want to trace the bottom of the head, so we're going to step in, curve around towards the bottom of the mouth, go across and then back up. Now we're going to add some volume and shape to the ears. Let's start on top of the eye. We're going to draw a straight angle line going up and then out to the left, and then the right side going up towards the same height. Now on the end, we're going to lightly sketch out a circle. And this will help us round out the ears on the top. From the outside of that circle, we're going to curve the ear going out, come down, and just bend that in towards the side of the head. And now from the bottom of the head, we're just going to curve the shoulders going out and then down towards the bottom of our page. Now that we have a rough sketch in place, I'm going to go back and clean this up by erasing some of these guidelines. Now once we cleaned up our drawing, I'm going to go back in and use this rough sketch as a guide to help us layer on some more details and refine the shape. Now I want to start with the nose. Let's start by defining the top edge going across and then down. And then along the bottom of the nose, we're going to add a small point. So we're just going to pull this up a little bit higher than the oval, and then come down with an angle line towards the center of the nose. So that little seam going up about halfway. Now on either side, we're going to draw an oval in an angle for the nostrils coming in. I'm just going to lightly shade in the inside of the nostrils. So down the middle, I'm just going to follow that mouth going out towards the side. Pull this up on the ends. Let's work our way across the bottom of the mouth. Now we want to trace the mouth along the inside of the lip. So I'm just adding a thin lip across the bottom edge. Now I'm going to go back up to the eyes. We're going to define the edge going up from that point. Go up a little bit higher along the top just to give it a little bit more shape, and then just pull that in. Now in the center of each eye along the top, we're going to add a small circle for a highlight. Now with the outside of the face, we want to add a little bit more shape. So we're going to start from the outside of the eye, we're going to go up. We want to bring the brow up a little bit higher above the eye, and then just bend that down. Now we just want to lightly pull that in towards that point in the eye. So a little bit of a trim going around the eye towards the side of the head. Now from the top of this curve, we're going to come in and up and towards the middle. Let's add some fur in the center. Just going to pull this up with these short lines, creating a bit of a mohawk style in the middle of the head. Come down underneath the eye and just fade that out. Now with the side of the head, we're just going to pull this out around the cheeks. Now this is going around the corner of the mouth, and then we'll bend that back in. Let's come down towards the chin. And now the ears, we're going to go up towards the top. Let's follow this all the way down towards the bottom. And now we're going to add that fold along the inside. So let's start from the top of that circle, step in, bend this down and out. That's going to gradually come down and then in towards the bottom of the ear. Do the same thing on the right, going out and then bending that in. Now the bottom has a fold. I'm just going to taper that out towards the side. Now that we've defined a rough sketch with a little bit more detail, we're going to go and start placing in the teeth. Let's leave a gap in the center, go to the left side. We're going to draw a small half circle, move over towards the right and do the same thing. Now let's add that fang. Coming down with an angled line, bend this out around the side. Now I'm just going to add these little half ovals, working our way towards the outside of the mouth. A couple more. Let's go down and draw on the bottom teeth. Again, leaving a gap in the center. Add one small one on the left and right. I'm going to add a pointed fang, a little bit of a curve along the end. Add another tooth. And I want to start to stack the last few teeth in behind. So just layering this in from the top. Let's go in the center, draw an edge for the tongue. I'm going to go back and do one final cleanup before we add some more detail and shading. And now I'm going to switch to my thicker pencil. This is my 0.9mm, and we're going to add some contrast. So I'm going to start back at the eyes, starting on the left. Just going to trace the eye out along the outside. Now let's go in and just smooth out that highlight, and then darken that up as we go out. Now let's go back to the bottom, darken up the eye. Now I'm going to fade that as we come up towards that highlight, and then up towards the eye to create a glare. Gonna add a few little folds and wrinkles around the eye. Now let's move to the center and draw on the nose. So I'm just gonna darken up the edge. And just darken up that seam, and then the nostrils. Lightly darken up the bottom of the nose. I'm going to start with the left side, and then gradually fade that up towards the top. Now let's add a little bit of a soft fur texture across the top of the mouth. Now I'm just going to angle this up towards the nose. Just adding these short lines and just brushing this up and then in. And as we get out to the corner of the mouth, I'm just going to fade that out. We'll go in the opposite direction on the right side. Let's work our way across the bottom of the mouth. And it's going to trace out the inside of the lip is darken up the top and then gradually fade that down towards the middle. Now we're going to come back to the mouth after we've drawn in the head. So let's add that fur going around the brow. Now as you come in towards the top, we're just going to fade that out. And now we're just going to brush that fur going up toward the center. And just pull these hairs going up in the middle. And I'm just going to soften up that fur going around the cheeks and the chin. I'm going to switch to the side edge of my 2mm pencil and just add some light shadows. So we start with the inside of the ears. Just going to push the inside into some shadow. So we're going to darken that up and then fade that out. And then right where the ear connects with the head, we're just going to darken up the edge. So there'll be less light in this area. I'm just going to brush that out. And then for the top of the nose, just going to brush this up. You want to give this area around the eyes a little bit of a darker shade. And fade that out toward the side. Now the head's going to cast a bit of a shadow across the top of the body. It's just going to darken us up along the top and then fade that down. Now I'm just going to move back to my fine pencil and add some texture of fur inside that shadow area. We're also going to fade that out. Now we're going to darken up the top of the mouth, in between the teeth. Now I'm just going to gradually fade that down towards the edge of the tongue. Now let's fade this down across the tongue and add a light shade coming in towards the teeth. And go back and add that cut inside the ear. Now, as we get near the end, we're just going to tighten up our shadows and detail, and always be sure to sign our artwork, and that's pretty much it. There's a sketch illustration of Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you do, please be sure to subscribe for more videos each week where I'll show you how to draw different characters just like this. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.